¿Qué tal, amigos de Rancho La Corporación? Les saluda Juan Ramos. Estamos en el marco de la clínica que se organizó aquí en Hacienda Soñador Quarter Horses, donde viene uno de los mejores entrenadores de reining del mundo. Y para empezar, permítanme cambiar el idioma al inglés para que él se sienta más cómodo. Shawn, thank you very much for this time
Thank
to
you.
talk to you and ask you some questions.
Awesome. Thank you.
I will mention here the sponsors that make possible this video and this clinic, okay?
Awesome.
Los patrocinadores de esta clínica son Juan de Dios Sandoval, Hacienda Soñador Quarter Horses, Rancho Monsiváis, Lone Star Saddlery, JG Horse Beat, D&D Buckles, Félix Prieto Branding Irons, Caballos La Paloma, la Asociación Mexicana de Caballos de Cala, Forrajera Sandoval y Criadores de Caballos Cuarto de Milla, México. Es gracias a ellos que se pudo tener aquí a uno de los mejores entrenadores y también tener este video. Shawn, as I said, thank you very much. It's for me like a dream. Let me slap to myself to make sure this is real. This is not a dream. So, as I told you before this interview, I wanted to ask you some questions because I love statistics, and people here in the page also do the same. First of all, tell us about you. How did you start on reining?
You know, I was fortunate enough that reining actually started in the state of Ohio. Dale Wilkerson, some of those founders that started it there. I was fortunate enough to grow up in a family that reining was a big thing. My dad had reining horses. My brother's a reining horse trainer. My other brother, Mark, is a farrier. So I actually got to start riding reining horses when I was about 6 or 7 years old. So I didn't know anything else. So it was the perfect storm, and I was born into the perfect family.
Okay, then the reining came to your family.
Exactly.
Actually, you didn't come to the reining. Then you started there in your family, and you have won 6 times the NRHA Futurity so far. He has won more than $6 million already, and last year in the last Futurity riding a Voodoo, you did a very
He was
good
really
job.
good.
It was a
Yeah,
very
he's a nice
amazing
horse.
run. I was there, and it was by Shiner's Voodoo out of a Wimpy mare.
Yes.
And I wanted to start with that horse, Wimpy's Little Step, because that horse takes you to the big leagues, right?
Sure.
The major leagues.
Yeah, Wimpy's Little Step kind of helped me get that monkey off my back, per se.
Yeah.
Got to win my first reining futurity on him. And then obviously this kind of got to rolling, and I got some good horses and got the right owners and got people around me. So, you can't do it without great owners. Can't also do it without great horses. So, and it takes the combination of both.
Actually, Wimpy Little Step still has the highest score in the Futurity, right?
Yeah, he was phenomenal that night. I actually rode him for a friend of mine named Mark Scholes. That horse just fit me, He fit me mentally. It was just perfect.
Yeah, I remember I have watched that run on YouTube. I was not there, but I have had the chance to see that.
watch it.
To watch it. And also, it was 2002, right?
Yes,
Correct.
correct.
And 2 years later, another special horse. It was Smart Spook, right?
Yeah, Smart Spook and owned by Roseanne Sternberg. And there again, just an awesome horse. He fit me. She called me aside when he was a 2-year-old, and she told me, she said, "I have the horse for you." And it just worked, And that's all them horses that I've done really well on, one of their common denominators amongst them is their brain. They're so intelligent. But at the same time, they wait on you, they think. Obviously they're good athletes.
Yeah.
But that brain is so special.
The brain of both of them.
Yes.
They were both studs, and then there was a tier winning with KR Little Conquistador.
Yeah.
He was a gelding by the time you won the Futurity.
Yeah, he was a gelding. He was a pretty rank little stud. He was actually owned by Jeff and Sheree Kirkbride. And I loved that little horse. He was just awesome, and there again, he was a little bit more feely and a little bit faster moving.
Okay.
But just a fun horse to ride.
Okay, so he was a stud when you started him?
He was a stud as a 2-year-old, and he was just a little too studdy,
Okay.
And he just had to be castrated to reach his full potential,
Yeah.
which I think a lot of horses do sometimes.
Yeah.
And thank goodness that owner allowed me to do what I needed to do
It was a good decision.
to get that horse to that spot.
Okay. Yeah, that was one question that I wanted to ask you. Sometimes, especially here in Mexico, they want to keep the studs in training, and sometimes, as you said, they are study and to get the full potential it is needed to be gelded.
Yeah, and my theory is on that a horse has to be a good show horse first before he can go be a stud.
Okay.
And if he's not going to go be a good show horse, then obviously he's probably not going to be a good stud because he's going to produce some of the same things that he has that kept him from being a great show horse.
Okay.
So they have to go be a great show horse first.
Okay. After that, the 4 winning with a mare, a very special horse for you that now you are having the chance to ride some of her babies.
So
Little chick.
I got a really good 3-year-old this year out of that mare by NRHA. I don't know what else you could say about Wimpy's little chick. It's probably the greatest horse this industry's ever seen. She herself was just phenomenal. Mr. Archese owns her and did own her then when I showed her. And I was just very blessed to be involved in her life.
She was the first Triple Crown winner, right?
Yeah. In a row.
In a row.
Yeah, she's the only one ever to do it in a row.
In a row.
But you know, her being a mare, she had so much power and so much grit. And I just loved her.
She's the highest money earning horse until before the run for a million.
Yeah, before the run for a million. In the run.
NRHA event.
Yeah. So in fact, every baby she's had or full crop has made the NRHA reining Futurity finals until last year. And she's just been phenomenal.
Yeah, she's now the highest mare.
Produced,
mare.
yes.
Yeah. And after that, another special horse came that you already mentioned that is getting good falls with
NRHA.
Little chick. He's gonna trash her.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of gonna trash her. And what can you tell us about him?
You know, there's so much to tell about NRHA. Actually, NRHA was sent to me to train by Bill Horn.
Bill Horn.
And so he sent me that horse and he said, Shawn, he said, I think I got the special horse for you. He said, would you ride him for me? And I rode him, and then, you know, the rest is kind of history, but me and Bill had so much fun. One of the greatest horsemen, or maybe the greatest horseman in this sport or this sport's ever seen. And then we actually sold him, or Bill actually sold him to Mr. Archese. Okay. But Bill did stay involved a lot, and the horse was just phenomenal.
Yeah, he won the Futurity and the Derby, right?
Correct,
yeah.
Correct.
And I remember that you had a podcast with Andrea Papani, and you mentioned there that NRHA feels different than riding on any other gunner son.
Yeah, well, he was just so feely and so quick, you know, and his brain, he could tie into you. I mean, he could feel you do things. It was just phenomenal. You know, most horses, they let you ride him, but they don't always think with you. He would try to think and try to help you do what you wanted to do.
Okay. And then the last one was Shine and Spook, another sorrel horse by Smart Spook.
Smart Spook. You know, and that's anytime that you can ride sons and daughters of horses that you've already had success on, you're going to have some advantages because you got a little bit of an idea how they're going to train, how they're going to show, what they're going to be like. And that horse there is just phenomenal. He was owned by Rick Clark, great client, worked for him for years, you know, and that's, I mean, I just need the support of the owners and owners to keep sending us great horses. That's the greatest part of it.
Yeah. Then so far we have talked about five horses and one mare.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my next question. What's behind that fact? Because here in Mexico, I have had other interviews with horse trainers, and we see here that the mares win the big events, and the studs they are not really winners. So in the States, for example, in the last Futurity, as I told you, there were about 9 mares out of the 32 in the finals. So it's a very not equal ratio. What's behind that, do you consider?
I don't know if I know all the answers to that, but there's like 400 or 450 head of horses that go in that reining Futurity. Yeah. And I would think you'd have to go back and check the numbers as far as how many studs, how many mares.
50-50, I can tell you.
Is it 50-50?
Yeah.
But you know, you take 3 go-arounds. You know, we got a first go, a semifinals, and then a finals. It's hard for any horse to get through it. But a mare to get through it, they have to have a lot of stamina, a lot of courage, and very strong. And typically them studs have a little bit more stamina to them. And I think that's the reason that you see the studs kind of float to the top, because they do have a little bit more grit to them. But when you do get that one special mare, and I've had 2 or 3 of them in my lifetime, they get there, they are absolutely a blast to be around.
Yeah. Oh, it makes sense now to me. Thanks for that answer. And also related to that, the next question is, out of the horses that we have mentioned, Smart Spook, Wimpy's Little Step, NRHA, Wimpy's Little Chic, and I will mention some others like Whiskey and Diamonds, Shine Chic Shine, Walla Walla Whiz. All of them have, Spook's got a whiz. All of them.
Spook's got a spark.
Spook's another one in the maker. They have become huge producers, very prolific sires and mares. So what's behind that? Why only the horses that Shawn Flarida rides and make champion become such a good producers?
You know, only thing I can only tell you about the horses that I ride, but I can tell you the horses that I ride, they are just genuine good souls. As far as they come out, they do their job. They got great brains. They'll let me train them. They think about their job. You know, it's I've been fortunate. All them studs that you did mention that I did show and I've done well on, they're not studdy. You could load them into another stall or something. They're not kicked. They're just good citizens. And I think that is really what makes, you know, when a horse goes and he's successful, when he goes over to the next step and now he's a producer, he's a breeder, that's when you really find out what kind of individual that was on the inside. I tell all the people, you know, I get to enjoy them horses every day. But them horses are so kind, you know. My kids, you know, they get buddied up with one or another. And it's interesting because them horses, they'll kind of go to their personality of the horse that fits them. Yeah. And it's really unique how that works.
Yeah, it makes sense also to me because you said they just don't have to be studied because they will get gelded. Yeah. They are not good enough to control their mind.
Yes.
So, okay.
Well, in our sport now is starting to pay so much money that those horses, if they're good horses and even if they have to be castrated, they can go still earn a lot of money. I mean, we have 4-year-old events. We have Run for a Million events. We have enough money out there. That horse has to go be just a good show horse first.
Yeah. And you mentioned another horse that is becoming a great sire. It is promising a bright future, which is the Spook's Got a Spark. What can you tell us about him?
You know, there again, I think his future is bright. His stud book is completely booked. Kevin Truax owned him. I've worked for 3 different owners owning that horse. That horse is so kind. I always kind of tell everybody he's like a big lab dog. I mean, he literally will follow me all around. And then, you know, run for a million. He just tries, you know.
It was fun.
He was fun. And he's just a great horse. I could talk about him for hours, but only thing you're going to hear that he's awesome.
Yeah. Okay, and then going back to the horse that you made to the finals in the Futurity, Shiner on My Eye.
Yep.
What can you tell us about the Shiner's Voodoo DR root line?
Yeah, you know, that's the first one I've had, but he's been a dream to train. He's owned by Bob Santagata in New York, and I think the future on that horse is really bright. He's really level-headed, comes out, does his job, not study, and he's absolutely gorgeous. Yeah. And he's so pretty made, you know. I'm excited to show him this year.
Yeah, you are showing him every year.
Correct.
Awesome. Then those are the questions that I had for you. Thank you very much for your time and your answers. I really appreciate it.
They were great questions.
Okay, thank you. I'm a big fan of you. I follow all the shows and I always look for your results and the horses that you ride, because if I could travel to the past and I could tell to myself, hey, if you want to breed really a good one, pay attention to the horses that Shawn is riding, and Shawn will make champions. Those will become the good sires of the future.
Well,
I will win a lot of money breeding those horses. But that's all from my side. I really appreciate your time. Welcome to Guadalajara. I hope you enjoy your stay here, and we wish you a very good luck. You will be in Vegas next.
Yes, we got to do a clinic with Andrea, and that's going to be that's going to be fun.
Yeah. Thank you very much. So,
thank you.
Amigos, esta es la entrevista que quería tener con Shawn Flarida, uno de los mejores entrenadores de reining del mundo. Ha marcado época con los caballos que ha montado. Así es de que espero que hayan disfrutado de esta entrevista y aprendido tanto como yo lo hice. Hasta la próxima.